Hello everybody, and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a Santa. I hope you're doing well, and today I continue to just be depressed with the lack of box office numbers that have been coming out, because I just feel like half of the things that I used to do are just now completely gone. But we might have some good news as far as movie theaters are concerned, because AMC Entertainment apparently is nearing a debt deal that would ensure solvency into early next year, meaning not only that the likelihood of them reopening at the end of the month, which is their current plan, is more likely to happen, but also that they would actually be able to somehow survive having a lack of brand new films. Because, again, the studios need to start releasing things, but the studios aren't releasing things because the theaters aren't open. But the studios don't realize that they need to start releasing things and sticking to release dates if the theaters have any plans and can make any plans to actually reopen, which is also why, in association with AMC Entertainment, UK's largest cinema chain, Odin, is slowing its reopening efforts amid this moving film slate. Odin is also owned by AMC. So as you're seeing right here, there's a lot of connections and a lot of dots that are trying to be put together here, because you have the slowing down of UK's largest cinema chain, again in association with AMC, slowing its efforts down because obviously everything is being pushed back by the studios. And now AMC Entertainment is getting some good news in that it might be getting a debt deal to make sure that it can actually continue operations, not just here in the States, but also across in the UK and other places around the world. But that might all be for naught if no movies actually come out. I've mentioned previously on streams and in other videos how I think there's now a good chance we might not get any new releases this year, or that it could be pushed back to September or even October, depending on what various governors and what various mayors, etc., leaders of situations, areas, places, things end up doing. But let's go ahead and dive into this news from AMC. The nation's largest theater chain, AMC, is finalizing a deal with bondholders that would slash debt by up to $600 million, bring in $200 million in fresh cash and give it a lifeline into 2021, Deadline has learned. A $500 million bond sale in April as the CV kicked the nation's economy into a ditch was meant to fund the exhibitor's seriously cash-strapped operation through November. The Kansas-based company led by CEO Adam Aron is now approaching 4 months of zero revenue since shuttering theaters in March. It plans to open them on July 30th, even as COVID cases spike in states across the country, and the summer release schedule was already shuffled several times. There's been some drama around the restructuring, which would see big private equity firm and current AMC bondholder Silver Lake Partners shifting into a higher grade of company debt called First Lien. That has rankled other First Lien shareholders, including Apollo Global Management, Ares Management, etc. They would see their positions diluted. Never have boring bonds in their various forms, which usually hide in the background. This is a terribly constructed and put together article, Deadline. And normally I'm actually impressed by your stuff, but of course this was one of their exclusives, breaking news, that they had found this deal. But as I said, this means very little if the theaters themselves have no actual movies to show. As we are seeing in the UK, where theaters are starting to reopen, where we have seen AMC-owned theaters start to reopen, first in Norway, now, of course, in the UK as well. The chain reopened an initial 10 sites on July 4th and was expected to open up even more, but now is slowing that process down. And I'm sure that the connection to not having any new movies should be very clear at this point in time. And so basically, what are we left with? We are left with theaters that have no movies to show and movies that have no place to be shown. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Only at the end of the day, it really comes down to the studios, because if the studios can make very clear, hey, these are the dates the movies will be available, we promise, we swear these are the dates, the theater chains can then say, great, then we can commit to reopening our theaters at this time to try and get things back going so that you can make as much money as possible. But they cannot do that unless the studios end up playing ball. And so therefore, what we're left with is a never-ending game of cat and mouse, it seems, where we're seeing essentially a death of not just movie theaters, but also the Hollywood structure as we know it. Because I think the other thing we're going to see from all of this is we're going to see studios having to revamp various departments, spend less money on projects, meaning pay their actors less money, and therefore see an entirely different type of Hollywood and an entirely different type of studio system, which could be for the better, could be for the worst. Obviously, at this point in time, there's still so much that we don't know because it seems that the news is changing on a daily basis. But for anyone that's been following the AMC news, looks like they, at the very least, will be solvent, able to continue operations into 2021, though they are slowing down their reopenings because no one knows when Tenet is going to come out at this point. They claim August 12th or so, but I don't believe that for a second. I think that we're going to see that date get changed once again, especially with, as this thing has mentioned, with spikes happening across the country. But again, comes down to the studios, comes down to the governors, of course, allowing various places to reopen and allowing certain occupancies and allowing certain businesses their ability of, their sense of autonomy. And we're gotten to the point where the movie business as we know it will probably never return. And the concept of billion-dollar films, $2 billion films, very likely will be a thing of the past. And people like me, who used to cover that box office, will have very little numbers to actually end up crunching, which makes me very sad. But anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think that AMC is going to survive? Do you think that the studios are going to survive? What do you think is going to happen? Because honestly, at this point in time, I really have no idea. And I don't think they do either. Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps out a lot. You're all amazing, beautiful people. I will be out of town this weekend, and so therefore no Saturday night stream, which means no appearance on Friday Night Tights, though I'm going to try and chop up a podcast I did earlier on my Twitch into a couple of videos and have those release on the days that I am not here. We'll see how productive I can actually be. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, DivX, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Honker Chonker Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toone, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Lady T, Laura Story, who is the modern Major General, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange at Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Benton, Tina Bojan, The DJD Show, and Tina B. Thank you all for being my Patreon members, and a huge shout out to my Subscribe-Star members, Stand For, John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, Alex McCarthy, or J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadan G. Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you all so very much for being my Patreon and Subscribe-Star members. Seriously, you are the wind beneath my wings. You help keep the lights on. You help support things like the giveaways for my $5 and up backers, and also allow me to do a lot of the extra stuff for the channel, including the exclusive OMB podcast that I do every couple of weeks with John, the Flick Pick of the Flick Pick channel. And yeah, thank you so much for your support. Don't want to really drag it out too long this month. You guys are amazing and beautiful people. If you want to have a name shout out, if you want to have access to giveaways, podcasts, any of that kind of stuff, check the links in the description for Patreon and Subscribe-Star. You guys rock. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.